make a podcast, but I think that you express better things with the dialogue, even over a monologue.
Thank you. I honestly, I feel so too. I feel like, I don't know, for where I'm at right now, the things that I want to express tend to come out, like, because I'm just in my visual phase. I definitely want to get to like podcasting to where I'm having like hour-long conversations. But
Okay.
like I said to Skylar before, I think everything happens in the time that it should, and
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like force something to, like, I'm not gonna force and say I got to do a podcast right now. Like, I feel like when it's time for me to be a podcast, to do a podcast, everything is gonna fall into place the way it should. And then I'll know, like, this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing right now.
Okay.
Because I don't have to force it. That's just kind of how I look at it.
So if I ask you if you are doing something with music, you will respond that you will respond. I'm speaking Italian.
No, you're good.
That it's not the time, maybe.
No, not so much. It's mostly because I have so many ideas in my head of things I want to do that there's no possible way I could do everything all at once. So the way I just rationalize it for myself is just accepting that the fact that they're in my head means that there is a potential for them to be done. So if I just continue to like lead my life in the best way I can and let things develop naturally, then it's not just gonna happen. It's gonna happen exactly when it should, the way it should, and the time that it should. And that's the way I want like life to go. Because even like I'm trying to stray away from forcing things. But like I'm working on stuff all the time. Like I'm working on a book. I'm working on like the next album I want to do. I'm already planning out the podcast and like how you are. Yeah, so I'm constantly working on things, but I'm not always really finalize anything because I just plan it out for myself and then I let life take its way after that. Like when it's supposed to come out, I know it's gonna come out. Okay. But I'm working on a bunch of stuff. Don't worry, I got you. Okay, I wait. I got you, bro. I will say, like, the next album I put out, I'm probably gonna put it out after I finish working on this book, bro. Like the ideas I have for that album are insane. No, it's a phenomenal album. You don't even know what to expect. It's gonna be so. Damn. It's gonna be tight though. So yeah, you can definitely book on. I'm waiting. All right, for sure. Well, if I end up into the next year, I'm serious. Like I'm gonna be looking into visiting and traveling a lot more next year, and definitely doing my meeting. Come to Italy. Let's go for food. Not chili, but a lot of food, lasagna, pizza. All right. Well, look out for any post that I make about it, and then comment and be that guy who's like, "Hey, bro, I told you had a place to come in Italy. You have a place to come, and then I'll hit you up about it." The next post I will. All right, bro. Much love to you. Pleasure. All right, dog. Great talking. All right. All right, guys. I'm feeling kind of tired. It's 7:00. These are dead. Sorry, I gotta rub the privilege out of my ears. Yeah, 7. I think I'm gonna just like talk to you guys one-on-one for a little bit, and then I'm gonna head out of here. One more. All right. All right, one more person. I'm just gonna click. Who's somebody that's been asking me forever? Somebody said they weren't going to bed until they talked to me. I don't know. He's not here right now. Yo, what's goody? Yo, I actually got in. Hold on, bro. No, bro. I've been here for like good hours now. I'm never gonna get in. I'm like, sunlight. Yeah. Oh, I'm in my room. It's like I'm radiating from my window. Is that sunlight? Yeah, it's sunlight. Where are you, bro? Like, what country are you in? Oh, I'm in California, actually. Bro, all you do from California, just I can't stand it. I get a bunch of sunlight here. I hate it. How you feeling, man? How's your day been? Honestly, my day's been pretty good.
My whole week's been pretty good, honestly. You know, a lot going on. I'm stressed a little bit, but I'm feeling pretty good right now, actually. Right?
What are you stressed about?
Yeah. I'm stressed about college, honestly. I'm a senior in high school, and college applications start like in a week, and I haven't like started doing one yet, and I'm gonna start doing one soon. But it's just stressful, you know. It's kind of like taking this step, but then you're not really sure what you're getting into until you get into it. But,
so you said you're about to go to college?
Yeah, but I mean, next semester in 2020, because I'm a senior in high school right now still, so
okay.
We're working our way towards that.
Are you ready? Are you going to college by choice? Like, is it what you want to pursue full on?
You asked me that maybe like a year ago. I would have said no, just because I feel like it's just expected nowadays that we go to college to get a better education or something.
Word.
But you know, now I really want to go into it. I want to go into the medical field. Just mainly because I've been wanting to help out people in need ever since like I was a little kid, and I think the medical field for me is the best way to do that. So yeah, right now I'd say it's by choice right now.
Okay. What would you want to do with like that career path? When you say you've always wanted to help people out, why did you choose medicine to be
that? Mainly because I think as a kid I always thought that doctors are like I don't know how to say this. I guess we're like the main people that help out. I know you got like firefighters and all these other sorts of things that help out, but I don't know. As a like I've going to like a doctor as a kid, they were always so friendly to me and made me feel comfortable when I wasn't comfortable. So it was pretty cool, you know, just like being there and all that.
Right. I honestly think it's one of the best things a human being, or especially this generation, can do, because medical school is like so hard, so difficult for you to like go through all of that struggle just to save somebody's life for a living. It's like insanely like
like it's one of the things you can't repay to another person. So, but you know, you love being able to do that kind of stuff.
Right. So despite where you're at right now, which is like I would imagine like a transitional space where you're thinking a lot about like your next steps in your future, despite that, how do you feel about life overall? Like the experience of life, the fact that you're alive?
Oof. I feel great, honestly. You know, a lot of the good things have been happening to me, honestly. Not like, I've been getting money and all that. It's just like I've been having more human interactions with genuine people.
Right.
That's something I would like never have maybe a year ago or something. But just coming out of my comfort zone personally, it's allowed me to see that we're all like I think you said this once. We're all different, but we're all one and the same. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of true. We're all different, but we're all here together on Earth.
In this experience.
That's human. Yeah.
And that's
cool,
that's even more reason why we gotta latch together, because I mean life has its obstacles and it can be so difficult. But I think if you can just acknowledge that you're not the only person in life. Everybody's going through this exact same. Bro. When I tell you I am sick. I am sick of Instagram doing this. I am upset, flabbergasted, tired. I am livid. I am going to DM Instagram personally and let them know I'm not having this shit no more. I'm sick of it. It ain't no warning. It's not no, hey bro, you got a few more minutes. You got a few more seconds. It's just, all right, boop. It's over. It's a wrap. Fuck your conversation. I don't care. Like, I'm sick. I'm upset, and I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry that you had to go through Instagram dealing with you like that. It was not from me, and it was not from my heart. I'm upset. This is my upset face. This is my upset mouth. This is how my mouth looks when I'm upset. I'm sick and tired. I'm not having it no more. I'm not doing it. I'm not having it no more. We're going to... Who was that, bro? I gotta let two more people in here. I gotta talk to Blue Boy.
Bro.
Yo, my bad, bro.
It happened again.
Instagram was out here wilding. Instagram was out here wilding, bro. I apologize.
No, you're good. Don't worry.
But yeah,
you got angry about it too.
We were talking about just the experience of life and like bumping into other people, and not bumping into other people, but like really just realizing that like you're not the only person dealing with. Is my mouth distracting?
Yeah. Doing that. I'm trying to keep it in.
Like he's just staring at my. I'm prepared. So, let me turn it up. All right. What was I saying? Yeah, just kind of realizing that like, as hard as life can get, as difficult as life can get, like we're all here experiencing life together. So I think once we can like start to like just fine tune and meet people more in tune with who we are, and people kind of understand life in a way that we do. I think life starts to like pick up, and you start to realize like I don't have to carry all this on my shoulders on my own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand that, but for I guess for me personally, it's kind of hard finding those people that can not understand life the way I understand it, but kind of have that self-awareness that they're here living as a human, and you know, they weren't granted all this. They're not taking any of this for granted. They're really appreciating all this. But when you find this kind of people, it's kind of like, yo, I didn't see you existed and all that. Let's come be friends or something. But honestly, when you do find those kind of people, it's something special. Like, you don't really know how to describe it. Like, I honestly don't know how to describe it, but it's something that really makes you better. Something you wouldn't thought that would make you better, just interacting with humans and all that.
Word. So can I ask, what would you say you've learned the most in this past year?
Honestly, I learned it probably from you, is that I can't be happy all the time, because I think, like you said, is that you need to go through the hard times, you need to go through the sad times to be able to really appreciate your high times and all that. And for me personally, that before this, I wouldn't, how do you say this? I would try to find happiness and then try to find a way to maintain it. But, you know, after just experience life in general, you can't really contain happiness. It's kind of like everything else. You can't really control your sadness or angerness. You just gotta let it go with the flow. Let it be there while it's there, and then whatever else comes along will come along. And then, yeah.
That's a lesson I learned like in this last year too. It's like tolerance and acceptance. Like, for a point, like I was really obsessed with like I gotta find happy, and that was my life's mission, because I was so tired of being upset and sad and depressed. So of course my mind just went to, I gotta find a way to be happy. But more recently, what I've kind of realized more than anything is that real growth looks like acceptance. Like when people can just accept life and what happens in the way that it does. Like if I get up today and a blessing comes to me, I can appreciate that and be grateful fully. But if I get up today and my car doesn't work, you know, it doesn't mean that like I can accept that as well. I can accept things whether they're high or whether they're low. It doesn't change like how I feel about life in general and who I am. I can still maintain that consistency. I think that's like really what I've like, just contentment, tolerance, and acceptance, I think are major keys I've learned this year.
Yeah, it's just it's honestly just certain things that you don't have in your control, like your car breaking down. That's not something within your control, but I guess you can control yourself pretty much only in this world. And what you do in this world and how you can react to certain things. But yeah, I think that acceptance part, it really summarizes for me being able to be more accepting about anything that happens for me in life personally.
And I like what you said about what's within your control. I mentioned it earlier when I was talking to Erica, I think. A lot of times we get so frustrated and confused and upset because our focus is trying to fix things that are outside of our realm of control. But I think the more we focus on, like, instead of looking at everything that's wrong in the world, everything that even is wrong in my life, like your car breaks down, look at what's within my realm of control. What can I change? What can I make better? And the more you focus on those things, the better your life is, because then you actually start to feel like you're doing something. You can accomplish things because you're actually putting your focus on things that are within your realm to accomplish. And that's all. A lot of that comes back to yourself. Like, if nothing else, you can always change within yourself. You can grow within yourself. You can change your perspective, irrespective of what's going on around you.
Yeah, I think that's another thing too. It's understanding what you do have in your control. Because I think, me personally, I would try to control things that weren't in my control, and I would just keep trying to find a way to control it. But that's the thing about controlling things, you can't control them, and then you keep chasing it, and you're never going to be able to control it. So it really is about being aware of what you're able to control in life, and that's a great thing. Yeah.
It's a fact, bro. You're gonna make a doctor/therapist one day.
Yeah.
You're gonna be bro. Hey. So I know you just had lung cancer, but let's also talk about your life from here on out and what you
do. I'm learning from the best right here, bro.
I appreciate you for real, bro.
No, for real though.
I'm gonna let Blue Boy up in here, because I gotta head to my parents in a bit. But bro, thank you for coming out and talking to me, bro. You seem really chill. Like, if I ever gotta go to the hospital, and I hate hospitals, I think I'd want you to be my doctor. You got that real nonchalant, like, you're about to tell me I have cancer, but you're gonna say it in such a cool way. I'm gonna be like, what? It's not that bad. He's calm about it. Why should I be crazy about it? You know, like, you got that real calm demeanor about you.
Yeah, hey, I really appreciate that, Miles. I appreciate the time too.
There's no doubt, bro. Much love to you.
Hey man, take care. Appreciate it.
That's it. All right, Blue. Where you at? Blue, blip, blip. Is that your name? Blue, blip, blip. That's just hilarious to say. Blue, blip, blip.
Hey, I'm actually a girl.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Literally, I was in bed, but because I didn't want to fall asleep, I started to clean my bathroom, like, legit.
Started to
I was in bed, but
you know, when you get so bored, you just start being an adult. You know, you just start cleaning shit, doing your dishes, vacuuming the crib.
How are you
Where you from?
I'm
good.
I'm from the Cayman Islands, but my parents are Jamaican, but I live in England.
Okay, that's a lot of. You got a lot of different shit.
Yeah.
Your parents are Jamaican?
Yeah, my parents are Jamaican.
Oh wow! Like I heard the accent. I know you said something like in patois, like in text. I was like, wait, hold on.
Yeah, you remember? My phone's dying. But remember your last life? I was the one that was like, "Who can't hear must feel."
Yeah,
that was me. But I don't know. That was my.
I understand patois.
Yeah, I understand patois. It's so crazy because people up here, some people don't understand it.
Okay, so can you speak it fluently or just understand it?
I can't. If I speak it fluent, I sound like an uptown ghetto girl.
Oh, okay, just kind of a little bit this ish and okay. Right.
Well, I don't want to try because I sound really uptown, but I'm not uptown. Like, I'm from Spanish Town.
It's all good. I'm from Fort Worth.
You're from Fort Worth?
Yeah. So how you feeling about life?
How I feel about life?
Yeah.
Life is life.
Okay. What is that?
I don't know. Like, it's like sometimes I just try not to think about it too much.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
That's valid.
But when I think about it, like now, like what's coming to my brain, life is fragile.
Okay.
So you have to like cherish each and every moment, cherish the people around you. And even when I say this to people sometimes that like you kept asking throughout the whole life, like what's the biggest lesson that people learned this year? Or like since they've been like on earth, like because I'm 21, for 21 years or whatever.
Yeah.
The biggest lesson I've learned, and people, when I tell people this, well, I don't tell everybody this, they look at me weird. They're like the biggest lesson I've learned is like, you're gonna lose people. Loss is inevitable.
That's a fact. Wait, are you talking about losses in your personal life? Or you talking about death?
Like in general, like people come in your life and people go, like whether it's death or whether it's like relationships end. Like I'm going through a period in time, like it's so ironic because this is my first time actually experiencing the seasons. This came out as very similar to Jamaica in the sense that like it's always hot. When it's not hot, it's raining.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So here, like the leaves are changing. Like it's dark by 3 p.m. You know what I mean? But like I just feel like right now in my life I'm going through a season of like just like the leaves are changing, the leaves are falling, like things are dying out. Things are ending.
It's funny you say that. I met a guy like maybe like a couple weeks ago. He was actually hitchhiking on the road, and I picked him up and we were talking. And he told me like one of the craziest parables of life. So he said you have to envision your life like you're a tree, right?
Okay.
And it's like how, so in the summertime, trees are lush, they're green, they're full of, leaves. That's you in the summertime.
Yeah.
With all the friends, everything you think you want, life is going great. It's a hot girl summer. Shit is phenomenal.
Hot girl summer.
But then fall comes, autumn comes, and those leaves start to fall. And then you in your own life start to lose friends. Things start to get a little bit weird, start to like fall apart in a way. You start to feel like very alone. By wintertime, the tree looks like it's practically dead. And for a lot of us in the wintertime get like very depressed. We're very alone. We're very recluse. We're on our own and like there's no hope at all. And a lot of times like we get so depressed because we can't see a way out. But he said was like the thing you have to remember is that trees still stand because they know that spring is coming. And it's the same way life goes where like people are going to be removed from your life in that fall season. You're going to be taken to a point in winter where it's going to be like you're practically dead. There's no leaves on your tree. You're not even brown no more. You're gray. Like everything seems like there's no way it's going to get better. But the reason for that is that when spring comes, you're replenished, not with what you want, but what you need. You replenish your leaves that are worth holding on to throughout the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And just kind of like when he said that to me, it just made so much sense because the parable for one is great, but also I think that as human beings, we're a part of this earth, and like we have so many questions about life, and we don't realize that nature all around us literally tells us what life is and how. There's so much to learn if you just stop and look around you. You get so much answers to your own life.
Yeah, that just reminded me of the J. Cole. Like, you still need to tell me the J. Cole lyric from the last live.
Wait, which lyric is that?
Because you said something, he was like, yeah, this reminds me of a J. Cole lyric. And I kept asking, what J. Cole lyric is it? But when you just said that, it reminded me of the J. Cole lyric, like, life is a cycle. You lose your grip. But life is a cycle. Huh?
I'm an avid J. Cole fan. Life is
I love J. Cole. But, like, I haven't been getting too much into him these days because he's been releasing too much and I literally don't have the time.
Oh, man. I feel that.
Yeah.
But no, like that is definitely valid. Like, and I have been looking into. I think we're probably talking about the golden age a little.
Yes, I literally mentioned that to someone today at school.
It's let me see if I can find it real quick to show you. I don't know if it was you, but somebody was asking me like if I could like remember what it was.
And you said we're in the Iron Age, and then it's the Golden Age next. I remember from the last.
So this is what it was. It's a Hindu idea because I mean, like in the Western world, and I still gotta look into it some more. I don't like fully understand it, but like just from the little bit I do understand, it's like in the Western world, we see life in a linear way, you know. Whereas in Eastern cultures, they look at life as actually a cycle. So where we might see life as life and death and then afterlife, they see life as in this is humanity. There's a golden age in which like humanity as a whole is like very in tune with their purpose. Things are great. People are like, the egos are completely out the way. We're completely like relying on God and like, you know, very in tune with that. But then there's transition to the Iron Age, which is like the dark ages, which is honestly where I would say that we're at right now. Like the world is kind of crazy. It's lawless. Like nobody cares about anything. Like love seems to be so far and distant. People don't even believe in God anymore. Like everything is just kind of like crazy. But
people don't believe in love anymore.
People don't believe in love anymore. And it's so crazy. Like people who do love are either taken advantage of. Like it's almost like you have to be scared to be vulnerable in this world. But I think that those very people, the people who still believe in love and carry light, are the very people who usher in. I'm a visual learner. Are the very people who usher us in from this Iron Age. You see how it's the smallest age, right? You see how it's the shortest period of time. So it's like, you just have to remember, like, if there's light inside you, if you keep holding on to it, like, you're going to usher us into the bronze, through the silver, and right back into this beautiful golden age when, like, love is going to be restored to its fullest potential. Like, God is going to be back in his rightful position. We as human beings are going to be operating in the way that we should. And just kind of, like, it gives me a lot of hope for humanity. Because I'm like, before I'd be like, man, like, shit is so terrible. Like, man, we're just at the end of humanity. The world is going to end. But when I saw this, it was just like, bro, okay, well,
this is like
happened before, and it's gonna happen again.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just do my part to like lead and do as much as I can in my own life to go towards the golden age, go towards like a better direction, like be as much light as I can in the world.
Yeah, like as Jamaicans say too, like nothing new under the sun kind of thing.
That's all. Exactly.
So like I even use this reference literally today because I remember from your last live you talked about the cycle and stuff like that. I said it to someone today because they were like, there's so much evil in the world, like because they got robbed by 8 guys they used to hang out with before, and they're like they can't trust anybody anymore. If they knew that the 8 guys were gonna rob them, he wouldn't be friends with them. And I'm like, bro, like we're just in a time of like evil kind of thing. Like just like how back in the days when God sent the flood to cleanse the earth, there's gonna be another cleansing.
Thanks. But honestly, what I believe that's gonna happen. But I know that in the Bible it says that like God's never gonna send a flood again. But I think that the next cleansing that's gonna happen,
fire.
No. You're like fire and brimstone for these
fire.
No. Nah, I honestly think it's gonna happen like on a spiritual level. Like I think that people are just gonna start like, and I think I would imagine it's the way that it happens through this cycle is that I think that people are just gonna start realizing in their own selves like we can't keep living like this. We can't keep like allowing this to happen in the world. And I already see it in our generation. We're not as hateful, and we're not allowing our predecessors to convince us that we have to be cold and like full of hate, and like because that's really what life is, or that's what we're taught. Is that like, you know, to be successful, you have to first of all put your entire life on to live in this world. You have to be making money. To make money, you got to go to school. To go to school, you got to put your emotions aside and get logical. And it's just a whole trail of like convincing people to let go of love and like dreams and like lightheartedness in life.
Yeah.
But we're not having that shit. We're like, you know what? I'm gonna just get on Twitter and post a video and go viral and make bread off it. Like, fuck what you thought.
Some people go famous in the craziest ways. That's like this girl that lives in a van with her snake. You know?
Oh yeah.
Like,
I saw a picture of that.
It's crazy.
Or I think it's just like people just need to realize like at this point like we just need to, at least for me, I think we just need to be focusing on like our own happiness. Like you can't live your entire life being lived by the circumstances that people put on you. Like, oh, you have to go to school, you don't have to do anything except pursue what you want to do in life. Pursue knowledge of yourself. You pursue growth. Like I hate that like our society's at that point where like people feel like they have to do all these things that like human beings created. It's dumb to me.
I kind of agree and disagree. I feel like sometimes you have to live your way in the way society dictates in order to like come on the other side in order to pursue your purpose. Just let me just use myself. Like, I don't really like talking about myself, but let me use myself for an example. Like, I grew up not the best well-off. You know what I mean? Like, I grew up single-parent home. And it was like school wasn't the only thing that I was really good at kind of thing.
Right.
So, like, I went through primary school, went through high school, went through A-levels, went through law school, doing my post-grad. And this is literally the last stage, post-grad. And it's like, thank you. I've seen a progression in my life kind of thing. And if it wasn't for school, I wouldn't be able to, like, live my purpose, live my dream. Because I know, like, I don't want to be a lawyer for the rest of my life.
Right.
I know there's more to life than that. I haven't even started, and I know I don't want to do it forever kind of thing. So I say that all to say that, like, sometimes you kind of have to, like, what's the Jamaican saying? No. So, let me just say how I want to say it. Sometimes you have to go through it to get to the point that you want to be at kind of thing.
No, and that's definitely valid. And I can agree with that because I mean, like a year ago, I was working at like a car rental place, you know, and like so like I think because of even the way our system is set up, it's almost like you don't really have a choice but to go through it to come out on the other end.
Yeah.
The only part of it that I kind of like go against though is that people oftentimes get so into that like system of like, oh, I'm going to school, I'm doing this, that becomes their entire life, and they really lose their spirit and their like initiative to dream. Like the fact that you can be doing this, but you know that like, you know, there's still more that I want to do after this, but this is a means to an end, and this is something even like it gives you purpose as well. Like this is something I want to accomplish. You're doing it because it's something you want to do. You know, I think a lot of people are in positions where it's like they're just doing it because they don't know what else to do. And that's what I don't like to see. I don't like to see people like falling into like being lived out by what society imposes.
Society's expect, exactly. I get that.
But I mean, like, bro, we still need lawyers now, and we still need doctors. Like, don't get it twisted. Everybody can't be out here. Everybody can't be out here living. Come on, bro. Like, we still gotta take care of humanity. But I just I don't think that anything should cost your spirit and your will to dream. I don't think you should have to sacrifice your spirit and your potential and like your imagination. You shouldn't have to sacrifice any of that to pursue what you want in life or just to make money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get that.
That's valid. So you said it's your last day of grad school?
No, not my last day. Well, I did 3 years of law school, and now I'm in, like, the last stage. So it's, like, the post-grad degree. So it's, like, a master's, but it's called, like, the LPC. So I'm doing the LPC in England. So this is my first time, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes you have to go through things to, like, this sounds so cliche, grow through things. Like, I never imagined that I would live in this apartment. This apartment is so nice by myself. Coming from a place where I used to live in a 1-bedroom home with all my family kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And now you have like that appreciation, having like done the work to get like you actually feel like I worked for this. So yeah,
exactly.
It's definitely still valid. Like I wouldn't tell anybody to leave school or go against it, but I'm just glad to know that like you're there and you haven't lost your spirit, you know, and like you've done what you wanted to despite whatever is going on.
And I mean, it's not like every day I wake up and I'm like, yes, let's get this work done. Like,
word,
you don't want to do it.
That's not even my life. Like, I don't even wake up every day like, yes, let me go think about existence and talk about it. Like, is this a matter like, you know, are you, at the end of the day, I think it comes down to like, am I pursuing what is ultimately good for me? Am I pursuing something that I actually want to? Despite a good day or a bad day, can I go to sleep thinking like, you know what, I did something that I wanted to do.
Yeah, exactly. That's like what Skylar was saying too. That really like resonated with me because it's like you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable kind of thing.
Right.
Like, how do I put this? like, even though I'm doing law school and it's not necessarily what I want to do until the end, it's like I put purpose in it. Like, I know I want to wake up every day and do my best kind of thing.
Right.
Like, doing my best, doing better than yesterday, gives me, like, energy and motivation for the next day, if that kind of makes sense.
Nah, it does, and I think that's still growth. Like, you're still applying, like, your growth. Like, that's the same perspective we talk about all the time. Of like, you got to get up every day and try your best to make this day a little bit better than your last day. It doesn't matter what your circumstances are. You could be going to school, you could be homeless, you could be whatever. Like, it's the same spirit of like, despite my circumstances, I am trying to make my current day a little bit better than my last one. I'm trying to some way grow in my own perspective, and like, so that's commendable as hell. I super respect it. You have a great smile, yo.
Thank you.
Do you have like one dimple on this side?
I have a next one too, but it's like pretty shallow.
Same, yo. My joint is like, he's like shy. He's like super like, he's insecure about his stuff. You know, exactly. I got the same situation going on over here. That's why I was mad, like, buddy, when you came on, bro, from Italy. Yeah, with his deep ass dimples, bro.
Yo,
this shit was like craters, bro. Like, I was like, bro, you don't even gotta smile to see his dimples. He just smirked a little bit, you know, like great ass dimples.
But to be honest, they're like, what are they called? Like, you have like a defect in your face if you have dimples.
Bro, I will not accept it. I cannot accept that as a fact. This is a deliberate dot in my face. It's a beauty crater is what it is.
It's a defect.
Niggas always want to tell
manufacturing defect.
Nah, niggas always want to tell you something that makes you beautiful is ugly, bro. I won't have it. I will not have it.
Actually, it's like I just deeped it that I'm on this live with you. I've literally been waiting on. Because I was the one last time that was like, bro, you have to make... My phone was on 10%. You have to make sure the next live, you get people in. And then you're like, yeah, definitely. Then I'm on the live, waiting from like 10 p.m. my time. It's almost 1. I was like, bro, I'm going to give up.
Yo, wow, dedication. And you're the big finale. You see what I'm saying? Like, you're the big finale. You see how it works out? Feel me? Sometimes you gotta wait a little bit for life to hit you with that turnaround.
That's like that. Have you ever seen that meme? It's not really a meme, but it's like an image of the guy digging with the shovel, and then just as he's about to give up, it's like a girl behind it. I got it.
Bro, hold on. I swear I can find that right now.
It's like, don't give up on your dreams.
Don't quit before your dreams. Picture of guy digging
with gold. Mining, shovel.
Like, how do I digging for? I bet she's gonna be the first one to come. Bro, you know what I'm saying? This is it right here.
The first picture. Yes.
Sick. I know this nigga is sick, bro. This nigga is sick. And look at bro with all that energy. He got all that testosterone. Like, he's gonna hit that gold and then some. Like,
yeah, he's about to go.
I came to fuck it up. I came to fuck this dirt up, nigga. He's been digging for about 65 years. Nigga, his whole head done gone bald. Like, I feel bad for him, bro.
Yo, bro.
How your time match your pants, bro? I'm upset. Like,
the man gave up. That was about to be me. That was literally about to be me.
It's all good.
Like, Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say sometimes you're right there. That's why I think there's nothing more resilient than the human spirit.
Perseverance.
Yeah. My friend told me yesterday, like Beethoven, like one of our best composers, went deaf halfway through his life.
Went deaf?
He went deaf halfway through his life, and it was like a gradual process. I forgot why I was making that point. It's so morbid. Hold on. Let me bring it back to something positive. Oh, no. The point I was making, was that after he went deaf, he still continued to compose music despite the fact that he couldn't hear. Just based off like his previous knowledge, and that just shows me like the human spirit is resilient. Like, no, this man was